When I think of an illustration of peace, I think of Jesus and his disciples one day crossing the Sea of Galilee. Jesus had told them to go to the other side. And as they were making their way across the lake, you remember the story, it's recorded in Mark 4, how a furious squall came upon them, a furious storm came out of nowhere. They weren't expecting it. And the winds began to just blast on that against the boat, and the waves began to kick up and literally began to spill over into the boat, so that the Bible says that they were literally about to be swamped, which means it was filling up with water and they were about to sink. And so the disciples are looking at that, and I'm sure they're bailing as hard as they can, but they're going to go under. And they look back at Jesus, and he is asleep in the back of the boat. Now, the disciples interpreted him being asleep as being unconcerned. But the truth is that Jesus was asleep because he knew something they didn't know. He knew that the wind and the waves were under his commands and under his control. So when they woke him up, Jesus stood up and he said to the wind, "Be still." And he silenced the storm. And the waves on that lake just went slick as glass. The disciples are amazed. And Jesus looked at them and he says, "Where's your faith? Why are you so afraid?" So I want to remind you today that the wind was real. Their circumstances were real. The waves were real. And the water in the boat was real. But there was something more real, something greater, a greater truth that they didn't know. And that is that Jesus is Lord over the circumstances. Now, you're going to hear a lot of circumstances as you go through today. You're going to hear words like disease, infection rates, mortality rates. You're going to hear things like shutdowns and shortages and recession and all kinds of things. But as those circumstances come into your heart and your life, I want you to remember there's something more true, and that is Jesus is Lord over your circumstances. So remember today, Jesus is Lord over whatever's going on in your life, and be encouraged. Remember, he is with you.